Greetings comic fans and welcome back to Casually Comics. I'm Sasha and today we're going to be talking about a comic that garnered a lot of attention but not for the reasons the people who created it wanted. We're going to be talking about Batman Damned, or as some people know it better, the full frontal Batman comic. I have some great headlines to read to you later, so stick around for that. Also, if you've already got some percolating in your brain, hit that like button. With topics like this, the jokes do come easy. So Batman Damned was the first comic to launch DC's new Black Label imprint, a label that was going to be mature and adult. This was different than some of their other imprints, but now is going to have to unfold some of those properties because of Vertigo shutting down. That's a bit more complicated and a topic for another time. What matters is that this is mature, adult, edgy. After Hours. Batman Damned is by the duo of Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, a duo who have teamed up 2 times prior for alternate verse, not quite Elseworlds, but AU limited series, with books on the Joker and Lex Luthor respectively. Both of these have been well received and are definitely edgier and on the more mature side, though not as far as this one goes. Of the two, I have to say I like Luthor the most, and that's an unpopular opinion, just throwing it out there right at the start. People clicking off, she likes Luthor more than the Joker, get out of here. Also for some, Brian Azzarello is just a controversial figure in general. He called a fan a pussy once. And by fan, I mean Bleeding Cool reporter Jeremy Conrad, who had some comments about the Killing Joke adaptation, shouting from the back of a panel, yeah, by using sex and then pining for Bruce, in a discussion about how Barbara was now a strong female character. To which Azzarello, who was co-writer on that adaptation, stated, "Wanna say that again?" And when people came for him on Twitter, he stood his ground, stating, "No, I called someone a when they unintelligibly yelled from the back of the room, then wouldn't repeat it. The Killing Joke adaptation was a time and a half." The thing is, what happened with this comic is that whatever it was actually about, which was actually a lot, there was a decent amount of symbolism, there were different takes on characters, but all of that was eclipsed because of this one panel featuring Batman's penis. That's right, it's one panel. Just one in the first issue. So we're gonna take a look at all of it and how much that really factors into the overall story. And of course, spoiler warning, as this is a more recent comic, and just in case you want to go in with no knowledge whatsoever. However, for a comic like this, despite it being a mystery, spoilers matter a little bit less, and I'll explain why later. Batman Damned opens with melodramatic narration, and I mean extremely melodramatic. Black and white, love and hate, life and death. It's said there's a thin line between them. I've never heard that about the last one, but I guess it's true. And it's true, I suppose, but that thin line is a piece of string stretched across a Grand Canyon. Or misunderstanding. Batman is injured badly and in an ambulance with people who clearly don't know the Gotham code because they try and take his mask off. And they should know better. And so they get what's coming to them. Seriously, live in Gotham this long? Why would you try that? Also, being an ambulance attendant in Gotham must be terrifying. The art from the start is lovely, even if at times it can be a bit much. I'll show you where, but this is a horror comic, so in a way it works. The narration waxes poetic for a bit, with lines that are clearly not from Batman. From the start, it's quite clear that Batman is not narrating the story even though it's about him, because there are lines like "the lad from Krypton," which is something that Batman would never say, and sounds like a terrible indie album from somebody who couldn't get all the rights. "The lad from Krypton, now on acoustic guitar." This story is instead narrated by John Constantine, who can be an interesting foil for Batman to bounce off of, what with his sleazy crass personality that is on full display here. It's here that the comic starts intercutting with flashbacks from Bruce's childhood, and a mysterious figure that, if one is fresh off of a Suicide Squad rewatch, is clearly the Enchantress. Which, no judgment here, you could be fresh off a rewatch. I've seen that movie more than twice. There's no shame here, just love. Side note, it's here on the kids' faces that the art can get to be a bit much sometimes. Sometimes it's on purpose for atmosphere, and other times it's just because that's a lot of detail on a kid's face. Upon Batman's awakening, it is revealed that the Joker is dead, dying in a confrontation with Batman at the issue's start, which leads Bruce to have 2 concerns. 1, that he's not really dead, because come on, it's the Joker, and 2, maybe he killed him. Constantine decides to attempt to help him for reasons, but before he can do that, Bruce has a flashback that reveals that his childhood in this universe was far from idyllic, that his father was cheating on his mother, and that Bruce was aware of it. Bruce in the present, in the meantime, is chasing down leads, following a very intriguing rendition of the Spectre. However, ultimately it comes to naught, and he ends up at the Batcave. And it's here, people. We're already here. Are you ready for the panel? Get ready for it. And you know I can't actually show it to you, which is so sad because it's actually not that big of a deal. It's just a piece of human anatomy. But you know how people get. For some people, this is very, very, very controversial. If you want to see the uncensored version, it lives on the internet forever. They are never getting rid of that, despite the fact that they censored it on the digital printing, and the future printings of this issue and the trade paperback will have the censored version, which has actually rendered the uncensored version a collector's item. There's only about 115,000 of those in circulation, so now people are trying to snatch him up. They need that Batman peen copy. It's a thing now. Honestly, the nudity and the perfect rear you can bounce a coin off of are far less interesting than the visceral hallucinations he suffers, where he envisions his suit coming to grab him, or the utter despair of the panel after. So here's the thing. This panel launched a whole discussion about nudity in comics in general, and about whether or not it's necessary, whether it's shock value, whether turnabout is fair play and we need more panels like this because of the history of how female characters have been portrayed. But in all fairness, everybody is portrayed in an extremely idealized version in comics. It's part of it. Mileage varies on how you feel about that. Now, when it comes to the author's intention, Brian Azzarello did state, DC set up this imprint, take our characters, do something mature. When the opportunity was given to us, we decided, let's not half-ass this. Let's go all the way. We either go down a blaze of glory or we hit the ball. So in short, go hard or go home. However, because of how people react to nudity, this took away from what the actual story was about and became the focus. Gone was the focus on Batman's past traumas, his experiences, his more human element, and instead we got these glorious headlines, which I will now read to you. Oh look, it's Batman's dick. The Caped Crusader goes full frontal. What a week for pop culture peens. Here's an uncensored look at a very naked Batman in DC Comics. Bruce Wayne bears all in the first issue of the new limited series Batman Damned. Batman shows his dick in a new comic, and it's really something. The brief full frontal nudity in Damned #1 is hard to catch. I think my favorite one is this one just because they used an eggplant emoji. Batman's penis is in a comic book for the first time ever. But not for long. Batman's penis is now a comic book collector's item. Because of this, DC actually changed some of the rules surrounding nudity and their black label, and actually canceled another comic because of the sacrilegious imagery that was definitely going to come up, and some that did come up later on in this comic. With artist Jim Lee stating, "It's made us, certainly, look at what black label is and think about whether these elements are additive to the story. And that's something that we'll be mindful of going forward, because I don't think we want necessarily a repeat of what happened with the first issue." And editor Dan Didio stating, "It's something we wish never happened, because it really took the attention away from what we thought was quality storytelling. And that's not the way we see this imprint. As a matter of fact, we're excited by all the books that we have under Black Label. And it's an important line for us, so much so that we're actually repositioning some of our older material that has that same tonality and bringing it in and reprinting it under the Black Label name." Now this has started a whole argument on whether or not this penis panel is gratuitous or not. It must be said that the panel doesn't really need to be there. And even if it is, whether he's naked or not, it makes no huge difference onto the story. So in short, they could have doubled down and kept him naked and it would have been fine. The story would have been the same. Or they could have done what they did do and backtrack and take it out. And again, the story is the same. Some do feel that this was for pure shock value. Ooh, look, we're mature, a penis. Even some writers in the industry have thrown shade, specifically Sean Gordon Murphy, while others feel this was a bold statement and a good way to show vulnerability, and added to the symbolism already present in the story. A Batman fully unmasked. I think the thing that I'm not buying, even though it might be true, is the whole, oh, it was a printing error and they turned the brightness up too much and so you could see the outline of the penis and you weren't supposed to. But my naive, uninformed question is, why draw it in the first place then? Why not just draw in shadowing? If it's never meant to be seen, you don't have to draw it in the first place. You can just use different shadings without going and drawing the full thing. To me, that's very much a sure Jan moment of, oh no, they didn't like it and people are talking about it too much. Quick, give a reason. Just don't lie to me, DC. We're friends. After some uncomfortable dead man possessions and scary childhood flashbacks with amazing imagery, Bruce is more convinced than ever that the Joker is alive. Even more so after seeing this vandalized Jesus statue. This to me was far more shocking than Batman's wang, but that's just me. Or maybe not, because DC did make this first issue returnable, so if you were really offended, you had to clutch your pearls a bit too tight, you could send it back. But then also that takes it out of the market, and you lost some of that money, that collector's edition penis money. Issue 2, and now we're hitting spoiler territory, people. Batman stands way too close to Constantine on the rooftop while Constantine continues to wax poetic. Seriously, Bruce, too close. There's also a really traumatizing sequence where young Bruce, after witnessing his father storming out, goes into the house and points his toy gun at his mother's head and pulls the trigger. And it's from here that his vow to not use guns develops. This is really dark and you really feel it. A lot of the art in this is very good at evoking emotions, especially pain and sadness. Back in the present, it looks like the Joker is attacking the city and we get this really sick Jokerized bat symbol. Just those two symbols combined, people do it all the time, but it's such a cool look. However, when Batman gets there, it's not the Joker, but Harley, driven mad with grief, not wanting to live in a world without her puddin'. The panel of her missing him is devastating. Just the raw pain, again, that the art manages to convey. So get ready for emotional whiplash when we go from that to her drugging Batman and trying to rape him. Yes, because this is Black Label. Go hard or go home. Edgy, mature. I think I need an adult. Oh wait, this is Black Label. I am the adult. They try to tie this back to the Joker and how he would force the world to be what he wanted. Mileage will definitely vary on how well this works for you, or if you feel it's gratuitous, like Bat Dick. However, Batman manages to fight her off, and through influence by the Enchantress, which it took me a couple of glances to realize was happening, strangles her. Yup, issue 3. Batman wakes up inside a coffin. That's not me skipping things. We go from Strangle End in issue 2 to cool bat and folding a heart imagery inside a coffin. He's there until Swamp Thing breaks him out. There's then some interesting banter between Swamp Thing and John Constantine, which is cool to see because John Constantine was actually introduced in the pages of Swamp Thing. Batman then encounters the Enchantress and seemingly defeats her. Okay, issue 3 moves fast and there's a lot of surreal stuff here. This is the most surreal of all of them. Also, there's some cool weeping angel imagery that's going on here. Constantine then takes Batman to see Zatanna so that he can uncover the truth he's been hiding from himself. This of course takes us back to the scene that needs to be in every Batman comic, the alleyway and his parents' death. Overdone, yes, but this one does add an extra twist to it. This time when he's taken back, he's being cuddled by the Enchantress, who Constantine shoots along with Bruce as a child, but reassures him it's just his past self, so not to worry. Kylo Ren it.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
The issue then builds to a climax that some of you may have already gleaned based on the information given. Bruce died in that fight on the bridge, fatally injured by a stab wound, and he knew that he was dying, and so he went as hard as he could against the Joker. And when the moment came, that moment where the Joker's there dangling, just needing to be saved, as happens so often, Bruce didn't help him. Batman then walks towards the morgue slab, which is where he has ended up with the Spectre. He pulls back the covers and cryptically says, "I wish he was still alive," which could actually refer to several people. Deep. He then vanishes, only for the final panels to reveal that the Joker did indeed survive. This comic is a ride. Supernatural horror indeed. It's a very visceral experience, and a lot of that is because of the art, that in my opinion is very good at provoking emotions. Honestly, I think that the art eclipses the story and elevates the parts that really work. They're a good duo. You just want to keep looking at it, or at least I do. Honestly, the penis panel is the least interesting thing about this comic, and I can see why DC was disappointed that it was the thing that got the most focus. But at the same time, I understand why it was. It is the most headlineable thing about these issues. Headlineable is a nice way of saying clickbait. And now for why I feel spoilers are a bit less of a downer for this one. Even when you know what happens, this comic warrants rereading, to see the little clues, to take in the different interpretations of characters, like Deadman with his sinewy appearance and newfound detriment of only being able to possess bodies for a short time, or rapper Etrigan, aka J-Blood. There's a lot I didn't touch on, so if you're interested, check it out for yourself. There's still plenty to explore. I've read it several times now, and there are still things that I feel could be interpreted multiple ways, or some things that I fully haven't got a grasp on. It's slippery. It's a slippery one. I'm not ashamed to say it. Yes, I reread comics multiple times. That's how I know if I like it, if I want to read it again. The one thing I didn't like personally was Constantine's narration. It was a lot, and it oftentimes made me want to argue with him instead of pay attention to what was going on with Bruce. For me, the strongest segments had no narration, or some of them could have benefited from narration by Batman. For example, the Enchantress possession scene. It would have been nice to have at least a little panel about "I'm losing myself," or just something. Not much, just a little smidge. The choice of an outside narrator, and Constantine specifically, was deliberate. The duo wanted to take Batman back to a more human, vulnerable state. They wanted to get him away from being Mr. Contingency, I did it 35 minutes ago, which he is in a lot of comics these days. Batman has plans upon plans upon plans. While I think this comic did achieve this, I don't think it was because of Constantine. I get the choice. He's meant to be our guide as well as Batman's, and to get us to look at Batman a different way, because he does. But so much of this tale was Bruce's personal one and his family history that for me it felt odd to have Constantine narrating over it, especially as they're not that close. That's just me though. A lot of people really liked it, especially because they took Constantine back to a more classic characterization. Different strokes for different folks, and that's completely okay. It's fine to have different opinions on things, to like something everybody hates, or to hate something everybody likes, or to be completely meh about something that people have really strong opinions on. Or at least it's fine here on Casually Comics. So yeah, Batman damned. Come for the scandal, stay for the comic. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to chat about comics with me. I always appreciate it. And of course, please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so that you never miss a vid, and also come to see the exciting day when I notice my screen turning off behind me and fix it or change the sleep settings on my computer. Have you read this comic? If you own it, do you have the peen or no peen edition? Do you feel that it should have been censored? Share all of your opinions down below. I'm Sasha, and I'll see you again real soon, and definitely on Fridays at 1 p.m. EST. Hint, hint. Okay, bye-bye.